Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel is Making with Marilyn. Now I was making some black acrylic earrings earlier today on my xTool P2 laser. That is a CO2 laser. CO2 lasers can cut through a lot of different things. I absolutely love mine and I especially love that I can do tumblers on it. But when I was making the earrings, it was taking quite a while. So I decided to pull out the xTool F1 laser. This is a diode laser. And let me tell you, it was so much faster because of the infrared laser on this. This F1 laser, though it's a diode laser, it has your traditional blue light laser as well as an infrared light laser. So if you're interested in seeing how I make some black acrylic earrings on this, I cut them and there's some engraving on them. Sit back, relax, and let's get started. Now before you do, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. If you do, tap the bell and select the all notification. That way YouTube lets you know anytime I upload new content. Let me start by showing you the things I'll use in today's project. I have my acrylic. Now this is a 3mm thick black acrylic. What you see there was actually the waste out of the inside of a license plate frame that I made, and so I kept that just so I could make little things out of it. I'll also use my computer. I have some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel. I have some little needle nose pliers. This is a little jump ring tool. You don't have to have one of these. You can use 2 pairs of pliers, but this comes in handy. I have some earring hardware. I really like these. Let me see if I can get one out and show it to you just a little bit more closely. So these are posts, and you see the little hole in it? So you put a jump ring in that hole, and then you attach it to your earring, so you have a hole in your earring. Here's the jump rings I'll use to do that. Now some earrings I made earlier, I used a different type of hardware. So I made these with the F1 also. And for those, I use this type of hardware. Now it's hard to see, so I went ahead and I got one out. It is your typical little fish hook, but on the bottom of it, you have this little clasp. It makes putting earrings together super simple. And so that's what I used in this pair of earrings here. Now the type of earring I'm going to make tonight, they're going to be a circle. I already made one, and here it is. So it's a circle that's cut out of the acrylic, and then I have an animal print that I'm engraving on the acrylic. So let's go ahead and move over to the computer. I'll hook it up to the F1. We're going to get started. Let's go ahead and start by opening the xTool software. xTool uses xTool Creative Space to run all of its lasers, or at least all the lasers that I know of. Now it's showing the F1 because that's the last laser that I used. But if I click here, it's not going to connect because actually I have my F1 off right now. Let me show you that. All right, so it says it can't find any devices through the USB drive. Let me go ahead and turn it on. Now that I've done that, I'm going to click back over here, and actually I can't even click on it because it knows that it's connected, it's ready to go. Now I'm ready to bring my image in. So I'm going to go right over here and I'm going to say image. And then on my desktop, it is named earring round animal print. So I'll click on that and then I'll say open. All right, that looks like a mess right now. There's actually 2 potential layers. I clicked on that. If I try to move it, see that's one layer. Let me go ahead and hit back or undo. Let me click on that layer again, select it, and then I'm going to say move to, and I'm going to put it on its own layer because I'm going to cut that layer, but I'm going to engrave the animal print. So I need to have it on its own layer. So I'm going to move it to the blue layer. You can use any color you want. They don't mean anything specifically. You are going to define what you do with each layer. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to click off of that, and then I'm going to go over here to Material. I'll click on it, and I'm going to say 3mm black acrylic. So I'll click on it, and it selected it. Now I need to set the settings for each layer. So let me click back on the blue layer. And you see over here it's defaulted to score. I actually want to cut that out. So I'll click on Cut. Also notice the output is on, meaning that the laser will process it. If you want to do things separately, you can say Ignore, and then nothing will happen with this layer. But I want to go ahead and engrave and cut at the same time. So I'll go back to Output. Now it set the settings for me based on the fact that I said I want to cut it, and based on the fact that I selected the 3mm black acrylic. It's going to use the blue light laser to cut it at 100% power and a speed of 2. And that sounds really slow, but it really doesn't take that long on this. All right, let's go to layer 2. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Combine and Unite. That way it sees all of those as one thing. So I'll go back so that it's in the right place. I'm going to click on the red layer, and for this one I'm going to say Engrave. Notice this time it changed to the infrared laser at a power of 90 and a speed of 200. Now what I found is a speed of 200 is fine. It does a beautiful job, and after I do these, I'll show you the difference between a speed of 200 and a speed of, I'm going to go ahead and do 300. It makes it so that that engraving or the marking of the acrylic is a little bit, I just think it looks a little bit nicer. Again, I'll show you what happens at the two different speeds so you can make up your own mind. Now at this time, I want to go ahead and select everything. I'm going to hit Command-C for copy, Command-V for paste, so that it makes 2 earrings for my pair. Now I want to go ahead and put the acrylic into the F1. All right, let's go ahead and put it in there. For now, I'm just going to lay it inside there. I don't need to close this down until I'm ready to process it. The first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and hit framing on my computer. So here's the framing button. I'll click on that, and then we'll be able to see on the acrylic where this would cut out. So let's go ahead and say stop framing. Now it is very hard on the camera to see where the framing lines are. That's why I put that white paper in there. You can adjust where you're going to engrave and cut 2 ways. One, you can physically move your material like I did. Otherwise, you can take your designs and you can move them down, over, or whatever you need to do. But for me, when I can move the material, I think that is so much easier. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and say process. All right, let's go ahead and turn the filter on. When my job starts, the fan will start automatically. If I wanted to have it start before the job starts, there's a button on the front. I could press that and it'll just start and it'll continue to filter. I'm fine with letting it start when the job starts. So I'm going to go ahead and say start. All right, that barely came into view, but do you see that flashing blue button? That's what I'm going to press to start the job. Now, because of the protective green frame, I'm not sure how well the camera is going to pick this up. And I do have my safety glasses. I wear them even when the screen shield is down because I really, really want to protect my eyes. But I'm going to look at the camera, see if you can even see what's going on. If not, with my glasses on, I will lift the green shield just for a little bit so you can see that. So for the F1, to make both earrings was 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Now let me show you why I have the alcohol and the paper towels. It actually leaves a residue from where it cut the acrylic. It leaves kind of a melty residue on the base plate. All right, let's take a closer look at these. They cut and engraved very nicely, and even the little 0.06 inch circle fell out. Sometimes it doesn't, and you use something like this to poke it out, or even a toothpick. Now I haven't cleaned these, so let me show you the backs. That looks pretty good. And that looks pretty good, but I do like to clean them off with alcohol. So I'm just going to spray a little bit on my rag and then just clean that off. Sometimes you'll get just a little bit of residue on those, and you want to clean that off for your customer. And I saw this one did have some. Hopefully that showed in the camera earlier. All right, I'll do the same thing on the top. And then I want to show you the difference between using a speed of 300 versus the 200 that it was set to use. All right, so cute. I love those. Okay, so the earrings that I did earlier today, this was actually engraved with a speed of 400. And the engrave is still nice and light, but it's pretty smooth. When I was working with this file earlier, this is one that I used the prescribed 200 speed with. But I thought I might be able to slow it down because I can feel that this is a little bit melty. Not really melty, but have you ever used embossing powder on cardstock? This kind of has the feel and look of that. So with this one, I used a speed of 400 and I really like it. This was 200. That's what the xTool said to use. And then did we use 300 or 350 on these? Whatever we used, I think it's the perfect speed. Maybe you can see the difference with these side by side. The one on the right, that was what they said to use, and that was the speed of 200. To me, it's just a little bit bubbly melty. And then this is the faster speed that I chose tonight. All right, let's go ahead and put these together. Now these are the little posts that I showed you earlier. They have the hole in the bottom to connect to that. And then here's the jump rings. And I don't know exactly what size to use. I feel like this one is good. Might be a little bit big, but it'll work just fine. Now I got the jump rings, I got the acrylic, I got these. All of those came off of Amazon. So let me put links to those in the video description just in case you're interested. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this jump ring and I'm going to find where the opening is. And it might be hard to tell on camera, but the opening is right here. And so I'm going to hold this jump ring. The opening was right there. I'm going to hold it with these pliers, and then I'm going to slide the jump ring into this tool, and I just twist. So you want to twist so that the metal opens this way. You don't want to pull it that way. You don't want to spread it apart. You want to turn it to keep the integrity of the metal. Hopefully that makes sense. Whoops. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the earring part on one side. And then paying attention to the direction it needs to go, which I have done these wrong plenty of times. I'm going to go ahead and slide the whole of this over the jump ring. And then we're just going to do the reverse. So I am going to hold my jump ring with my needle nose pliers, and then I'll put the jump ring in one of these slots. Let's see, which slot does it fit in? There we go. And then twist that back together. Now there's a tiny little gap, so now I'll just take my needle nose pliers and I'll squeeze this together ever so slightly. If you push too much, you're going to make this go all out of whack and it's not going to work well. Okay, so let me show you the first one. Let's get that guy to straighten up a little bit. Let's go ahead and do the second one. And there's our second earring. These were super easy, super fast, and in my opinion, they are just so cute. I love them. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. And until my next video, bye-bye.